What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So before I start this video, people will be wondering, Brett, why the hell are you wearing last year's top? It's because this year's top is just currently in the wash, so that'll be back on hopefully in the next video. Anyway, guys, let's get straight into today's video. So I'm going to be talking about Manchester United's last game that we went and played against Wolves. Let's just get straight into the video, guys. We made 3 changes from the last game against Burnley. Talking about the starting 11, so we started with De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, Pereira, Fred, Mata, Fernandes, James, Martial. Getting into the overall reaction now. Bruno Fernandes, Man United debut, ends in a draw. Ball draw. Is it more points? Dropped. Not the best, not the worst performance. Only just needed to take 1 chance. Dalot should have scored to give us 3 points. Once again, that was tough. Oh well, it is what it is. We move on. It's a draw, unfortunately, and also it's a clean sheet as well. No messing about, guys. Let's just get straight into the questions. What did I make of the performance? Like I said just then, the performance in a whole, I think for me, was not the best, not the worst performance for me. I thought the game was in the middle. It was just one of these games where it was pretty much open for the majority of the game. Both teams attacked really well, and both teams defended really well. I just don't have much more to say, really, because obviously not the greatest performance out there. We probably expected a bit more from our players. We expected quick, incisive football, just not meant to be at the end of the day. Obviously, a disappointing performance. Obviously, it's always tough against Wolves because Wolves are very compact, well-structured team. Stick to the game plan, stick to the tactics. Wolves, they really stretch you out. They do their absolute best to really frustrate teams and frustrate the defence as well. They've got pace up front, they've got frightening pace, obviously with the likes of Traore, Jimenez and Jota playing as well. So they've got 3 fantastic strikers up the top. Obviously Jota goes out wide and he takes on the right back. Jimenez that takes on the 2 centre-backs, and obviously Traore goes up against the left-back. Obviously United just defended really well. You know, we've got obviously Wan-Bissaka, that's the best right-back that we've probably signed. Obviously Luke Shaw just got away with it, and I think at the end of the day, I think we're lucky enough to walk away with a clean sheet, because at the end of the day, you know, people were slacking off this game saying, you know, how poor it was and not much was in it. Anyone can slack off this game and say it was boring, it was not good enough. If you're United haters, if you're not United supporters, fine, fair dues. I'll hold my hands up and I'll say, yeah, it wasn't a great performance. I think at the end of the day, it wasn't the best performance. Bruno Fernandes made his Manchester United debut, so I'm happy for Bruno Fernandes as well. I really want to have a go at our fans as well, because I was really frustrated the fact that, you know, people are blaming Fernandes for this game, and you cannot blame Fernandes for this draw, because at the end of the day, yes, he might have been playing out of position, and obviously he had Pereira playing out on the left, James out on the right, and then Mata more in the central role, and then Fernandes dropped back even deeper. So you cannot blame Fernandes for this draw. You know, it feels like a defeat. I actually nearly said defeat, but no, you cannot blame Bruno Fernandes, because at the end of the day, it's his first game for Manchester United. It's his Manchester United debut. He had only been in the country for 48 hours, and it's a new league. It's different. It's going to be different for him. You cannot blame Bruno Fernandes. There's so many reasons to why you cannot blame Bruno Fernandes just for that game. A load of fans were coming out blaming Bruno Fernandes for that game. You should not be blaming Bruno Fernandes. We should be blaming our forwards for that game because of the lack of movement by the likes of Martial, James and Pereira. We should be blaming them, because at the end of the day, they did not give Bruno Fernandes any favour in that game, because there was a lack of movement and we were not told what we were supposed to do. And yet again, these players are not taking on instructions. It's either down to bad coaching, or these players are just not taking instructions, and they're just not listening to instructions at the end of the day. But obviously we're trying to do the right things, and you know, obviously we had Matic suspended for this game because obviously he got himself sent off against Man City in the Carabao Cup. And obviously Fernandes dropped back deeper. People can be disgusted of where he started, but you cannot blame Bruno Fernandes for this draw. And but yeah, like I just said, overall wasn't the best performance. It wasn't great. If you're not United fans, I know I do have people that are subscribed to my channel that that are not United fans, you can say that it was a poor performance. I can accept that, and I can accept that it wasn't a great performance, and I have to accept that myself as a Manchester United fan, that it wasn't a great performance. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's always been tough against Wolves. Wolves are a great side, got a great manager, got a lot of quality. They bring a lot. They play exciting football, and we just knew it was going to be tough, and it was never going to be easy against Wolves. And but first half, I thought we controlled the game well. Obviously, Wolves, attacked us really well. We defended really well. I think with Bruno Fernandes more playing a bit deeper in a deeper role, it helped Fred. On the other hand, but obviously they do have that Portuguese. They do have that Portuguese relationship, and they can talk to each other and stuff like that. But this is the thing. I saw Bruno Fernandes, telling Lingard what to do, and because Lingard, he was playing more in a number 10 position, and Bruno Fernandes is telling him to get more in a central role, and he was on the right side. So already he's spotting these stupid mistakes that our players are making already. He's only come into the Premier League and he's telling what these players to do already. So I think the way how the players are, just not taking things seriously recently. Obviously not a great performance overall, but first half I wasn't particularly happy the way how we played. I thought we were a little bit slow. I thought there was a little bit of fight, but not too much fight. Not a lot. We weren't playing really quick, incisive football. I wasn't really seeing that high intensity, high tempo. Obviously Wan-Bissaka putting some fantastic crosses in, but yet again, no one just couldn't finish the dinner. Just couldn't. There was just lack of end product, and And what baffled me in this game was Pereira. Pereira was shocking. Pereira needs to go for me. Pereira's not the right man for Manchester United. I know he's young. How old is Pereira? He's only 24. I know he's still learning. But at the end of the day, Pereira's not good enough for the Premier League. Look how he's playing at the minute. He's playing absolutely poorly. He's playing that poorly. He doesn't know what he's doing now. Everyone was baffled the way how he played. And everyone was just disgusted the way how he played. It's not good enough from these players. And already, Bruno Fernandes has been in the Premier League and he's telling our players what to do already. And these players have probably been in the Premier League much longer than Bruno Fernandes, and he's already given these players advice of what to do already. It's not good enough. This is the manager that should be doing this, and it's down to Bruno Fernandes. But obviously, Bruno Fernandes he used to be a leader at Sporting Lisbon. He was their captain, so obviously he knows what he needs to do. But at the end of the day, at least we've got more leaders in our team now. Maguire, Fernandes, Mata with a bit of experience now as well. So it's just we're missing something right now, and we're just not seeing that right now. And then I thought in the second half, just not much changed. You're just wondering what had happened in the team talk. Was anything been said? Yet again, I think for me, I just don't think these players are taking on Ollie's instructions. I just don't think we're seeing a transition from what he's telling these players. I thought, the transition from defence to attack was good in times, but wasn't always brilliant. We only needed that one chance, that one goal just to change everything. We did that against Wolves in the FA Cup, but we couldn't manage to do it this time round in the Premier League. So I know Wolves can be tough in times. They're a very good team, but at the end of the day, I think at the end of the day, I think when you're at home against Wolves, I think you should be beating them at the end of the day. Look at their form at the end of the day as well. So, yeah, for me, second half, not much of a change, not much of a difference. Obviously, in the down moments of the game, we were pushing a bit more fight came into the team, but we just didn't see that enough hunger in the players. And I mean, I don't know how Williams managed to. I don't know how Luke Shaw started that game as well. I mean, you shouldn't be resting players at the end of the day. I mean, even Ollie said in his interview, one last push now before the break. And what has Shaw done to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to make him start that game? So yeah, it just baffles me at the end of the day. But I think, like I said, overall, not the best, not the worst performance. It was open for the majority of the game, pretty much both-sided. We attacked really well. We also defended really well. They attacked well. They defended well. Both teams couldn't find a breakthrough, and we shared the points and got a clean sheet. And can't really do much about it at the end of the day. It is what it is, and we have to move on. Bruno Fernandes made his Man United debut. What did I make of his performance last night? I thought Bruno Fernandes was absolutely brilliant in that game. I couldn't be much more happier with Bruno Fernandes. First game as a Red Devil, first game as a Manchester United player. It's his Manchester United debut. I think, for me, you cannot ask for more, really, because Bruno Fernandes, he gave it his all. He's new to the Premier League. It's a new country. He's got to adapt. It's not going to take him, 2 games, is it? It's going to take him quite a bit of time. And I think from now to the end of the season, this is him now just adapting to the Premier League. Because I think next season, we're going to see a different Bruno Fernandes, and I think that's where the goals, the assists, and I think that's where that's going to come in play. And Bruno Fernandes was absolutely fantastic. I couldn't be more happy with his performance. It's never easy on your Manchester debut. He's already telling players what to do already. We brought in somebody that was a leader at Sporting Lisbon, that was a captain at Sporting Lisbon. And I couldn't be more happy with his signing because, we've been after him for quite a long time. We needed a player like Bruno Fernandes. We needed a creative midfielder. Obviously he had to play out of position for this game. People are blaming Bruno Fernandes on this game. You cannot blame him because he'd only been in England for 48 hours. It's a new league. It's going to take him time to adapt, so you can't blame Bruno Fernandes for that game. You cannot do that. He's just new to the Premier League. You cannot have a go at him. So you can start having a go at him probably next season, but not this season because he's only just adapting to the Premier League. It's not going to take you 2 minutes to adapt to the Premier League. So, and in the Premier League, we play quick, incisive football. It's high tempo, high tempo, high intensity, so he's going to have to adapt to that, and it'll take him time for sure. And this is him now, Bruno Fernandes, just adapting to the Premier League. So you cannot blame Bruno Fernandes for this game because it wasn't his fault. At the end of the day, we have to blame Dan James, Pereira, and Martial because of the lack of movement from our forwards. So you can't blame Bruno Fernandes, and we just something was missing. And we were lacking something, obviously, in the end product, and we lacked the quality. So, I couldn't ask much more from Bruno Fernandes. He gave it his all. Ollie said, he doesn't like losing. He likes winning. So, and no one at the end of the day doesn't like losing. So, Bruno Fernandes showed some great signs. Fantastic player. He had the most touches in the game, the most passes, he did the most clearances, and he had the most shots on goal. Also, I want to touch upon the first half as well. I thought what I really was pissed off at was with Pereira just having a shot on goal. Just baffled me really, and also, just not one player was having a crack out, and not one player had a crack on goal really. And when the fans are begging you to shoot as well, not one player did that in the first half, and that's where we started to do that in the second half. And yeah, Bruno Fernandes, absolute wonder player. I'm looking forward to more out of Bruno Fernandes to the end of the season. This is only just him getting warmed up now, and looking absolutely forward to Bruno Fernandes in the future as well. Why did we play so poor? I thought it was just a lack of creativity in the game, lack of quality in the game, the lack of end product as well. We lacked that killer pass. We obviously lacked the movement from the forwards. That just pretty much let us down in the game, and that was why we just didn't play at our potential best. We could have beat Wolves, but we didn't. As a team, we've got to blame ourselves for not winning this game. We just have to move on at the end of the day. Has the break come at the right time? I think as a team, it has come at the right time for Manchester United. As a team, yes, because we've shown our form's not been great. We've been very inconsistent this season. I think the break has come at the right time for us. I think this is now for the opportunity now for the players to go away, have a bit of a rest. Our players are training in Spain. They'll be cracking on next week in training. The breaks come at the right time. I think, we've shown that in the results, the performances. The break has come at the right time. I think this is the opportunity for now. Most of our players just to enjoy this break, and let's come back in the second half of the season absolutely firing. Let's get the results that we need. Let's get re-energised. Let's recharge our batteries, and let's go again now. I'm looking forward to the second half of the season. We're still in for top 4. It's still there, 6-7 points. We're not far off. We're still in the race for top 4. We just got to recharge our batteries. We just go for it in the second half of the season once it kicks off again tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to it. This is just the opportunity now for the players to reflect and enjoy this break. Let's be re-energised and let's go again. Enjoy it. Train well. Let's hope we can get some injuries back as well. McTominay, Pogba, one of them are looking back of coming back soon as well. It has come at the right time for us. We've seen that in the results recently. It has come at the right time. I think this is the opportunity for now for our players just to go away, take their minds off things, enjoy the break, come back re-energised, recharge the batteries. Let's go and attack that top 4 now. We're still in it. We're still in the race for top 4. Let's go for it, at the end of the day. Is it more points dropped? I think at the end of the day, you've got to look at Wolves' form at the minute. They're not in the greatest form themselves. I mean, you're at home to Wolves. The Wolves are tough. They're very tough. They're well structured. They've got a lot of quality. They've got some fantastic players. They've got a great manager. But we did beat them in the FA Cup. We only just scraped it by 1 goal. And 1 goal was going to do it in this game as well. I think for me, it is points dropped. That's how shit this league is recently, because obviously majority of the teams around us are just dropping points. Not one team can capitalise at the minute. To get top 4, we've got to beat the likes of Chelsea, Tottenham, all those other big teams to get top 4. And we also got to beat the lesser teams as well to get into top 4 as well. Who stood out in the game? Not many of our players stood out in this game. I have to give it one player who made his Manchester United debut, ran his absolute socks off, gave it absolutely everything. He showed heart, passion, pride. It's never easy. He only spent about 48 hours in England. I thought he did well on his debut. I have to salute Bruno Fernandes. He's my man of the match. He was the one that stood out in the game for me. I couldn't be more happier with his performance at the end of the day, because I thought he was the one that shined. He was the one that stood out in the game, gave it everything. He was the one that stood out for me in the game. Obviously, in the next game we do play Chelsea. How do we beat Chelsea? Now, Chelsea are having their struggles at the minute as well. They're just not being consistent enough recently. And, I mean, at the end of the day, Chelsea, fair dues to them. They've obviously got Frank Lampard as a manager. Obviously, yet again, they're a young side that are still learning. Obviously, Frank Lampard's working closely to these young players. Obviously, it's never easy to work with the young players because they're still learning. They're still getting to get at that potential top best, and they're still working towards that. So I think Chelsea, they're a great team. They like to play out of the back as well. So obviously Frank's got them playing at a system. Obviously Frank is pretty much, I think for me, he's like their leader in the team. I think Azpilicueta's not doing much as I think Azpilicueta as being a captain is not doing that as much as he can. I think as being a captain for Cesar Azpilicueta, I don't think we're getting much out of him recently. So I think Chelsea, they like to play the out of the back thing. They're not in the greatest form themselves. They've got great players. They've got a lot of quality in the side, but they play the exact way how we play. I think with Chelsea, I always say this in every single video. How do we beat teams? And I think at the end of the day, it's all about we've got to have a quick start to the game. We've got to play quick, incisive football. We need the high intensity, high tempo. We need that high press. We need to get everything out of our players at the end of the day. We need to drag that single last drop of our players. And after that game, I want our players to be knackered and that they've absolutely ran their socks off. And I think we've got to give it absolutely everything against Chelsea, because Chelsea, not in the greatest form themselves, they're struggling. They're struggling to find form. They're struggling to find momentum recently. They're struggling to find confidence. So we cannot put that. So we want to come off this break now and try and beat Chelsea, because Chelsea, they might suit it at home. They do well in certain occasions. They might get beat by Southampton, Bournemouth, and then when they go home, they go and win. So, they're up, down. So they're inconsistent at the minute. And I think with Chelsea, yet again, we've got to have a bright, quick start. We've got to be on the front foot. We've got to create chances. We've got to take our chances. We'll have Igalo for this game as well. So obviously that'll be a major boost. Obviously that'll help Martial, Greenwood, James, and all these players. So at least we'll have a bit more experienced. At least someone's coming in our team that has already been and done it in the Premier League before, played for Watford. So at least someone's coming in the team that has played in the Premier League before. This is Igalo's dream to play for Manchester United as well. So I'm sure that he's going to be coming to Manchester United in this loan spell in this next 6 months. He's going to be giving it his all now, and I think now this is the opportunity. This is the best opportunity to beat Chelsea. In my opinion, this is the best opportunity to beat Chelsea. Chelsea, not in the greatest form. I think it's just all about take chances, scoring your chances, have a quick and bright start to the game. We need the high intensity, high tempo there. We've got to show that in the passing. Transition's got to be quick, and we've got to give it absolutely everything. If we do not give this absolutely everything against Chelsea, I'm going to be disappointed in this team. And this is the opportunity now to beat Chelsea. They want to win this game. We want to win this game, and I don't want to drop points against Chelsea. And this is the best opportunity to beat Chelsea now. And we know that as well as a team. This is the best opportunity to beat Chelsea. So yeah, it's just all about have a quick and bright start to the game, and let's control and dominate the game. Create chances, score your chances, and let the best team win at the end of the day. Right, getting into the stats now. Possession-wise for Manchester United, it was 63.7%, and for Wolves it was 36.3%. Goals for Man United, it was 0, and for Wolves it was 0. Total shots for Man United, it was 16, and for Wolves it was 15. Shots on target for Man United, it was 5, and for Wolves it was 4. Poor for both teams. Shot accuracy for Man United, it was 31.2%, and for Wolves it was 26.7%. Shots inside the box for Man United, it was 6, and for Wolves it was 13. Shots outside the box for Man United, it was 10, and for Wolves it was 2. Total passes for Man United, it was 633 passes. For Wolves it was 354 passes. The pass accuracy for Man United, it was 88.5%, and for Wolves it was 354%. Anyway, getting into the substitutions now. Pereira went off for Greenwood. Talk about Pereira's performance. Played out of position in midfield and struggled against Ruben Neves and João Moutinho. Moved to the left wing in the second half. Mata went off for Lingard. Talk about Mata's performance. Shot narrowly wide in the second half and endured to make something happen, but more often than not failed to do so. James went off for Dalot. Talking about Dan's performance. His malaise is reaching the 2-month point, and James looks like a little boy lost. The unknown quantity factor has long since worn off. Onwards and upwards, we've got Chelsea next. Chelsea sat fourth on the table. Like I just said then, Chelsea just not in the best of form right now. They're very inconsistent right now. They've been struggling to get results recently. And I'm going to read out a couple of results from Chelsea. Obviously, they beat Burnley 3-0. That's a great win for That's a great win for Chelsea. Obviously, then they just, since then I think they've just been I'd say they've gone down and then they've been like that at a constant. They've been they've been all right, but at least they're not always up, down, and not all over the place like us at the end of the day. But obviously they got beat by Newcastle. Obviously they got beat by Newcastle away from home 1-0, and then they went back home. They drew to Arsenal. The Chelsea fans were coming out saying that feels like a loss, and it should be a loss because obviously Arsenal just not in the greatest form themselves. Leicester, obviously they went then they went away from home and they played Leicester and they drew that 2-2. So the last two games have been at a constant, just right there at the minute. Chelsea, so they're not doing too bad, but still they're not in the greatest form. They're trying to find that momentum. They're trying to find that confidence, but they just can't get the best out of their players recently, so they're not hitting their potential mark as well, and we're not as well. But at the end of the day, I think this is just going to be two teams. I think in this game it's just going to be all about. I think in this game, I think at the end of the day, this is going to be a game where it's going to be open and it's going to be a both-sided game. This is obviously going to be down to which team that takes the chances and scores on their chances. Recently, Chelsea have just not been taking the chances, so we've got to capitalise on that now. But even though we've not been taking our chances, so that's going to be a struggle once again. Obviously, of course, this is between the two club legends, Frank Lampard versus Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, both managers have faced each other this season twice, and that goes by Frank Lampard 0, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer 2. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has bossed it against Frank Lampard, and this will be the third meeting between the two club legends once again. This will be the third time Manchester United are facing Chelsea this season. Obviously, Man United have beaten Chelsea twice this season. We beat them in the Premier League 4-0 and once at Stamford Bridge, and we beat them 2-1 in the Carabao Cup. Obviously, like I just said then, Chelsea having their struggles as well. Chelsea have scored 43 goals, conceded. Chelsea have scored 43 goals and conceded 34 goals so far this season. Chelsea have been scoring 1.7 goals per match and conceding 1.4 goals per match. So they're there at the minute. So they're not doing too bad. They're on the verge of scoring at least 2 goals per match, and not conceding too many goals recently as well. But we need to try and beat Chelsea at the end of the day. The last time Chelsea lost back-to-back games was back in December, and that was obviously when they got beat by Everton 3-1 away from home and lost at home to Bournemouth 1-0 as well. So it just goes to show with Chelsea, and that's because again they're just not taking on instructions, or it's just down to bad coaching once again. So it's the same exact script really with us really, and obviously Chelsea have had that. Chelsea have had a few daft games where they shouldn't have dropped points. Same as us really, the likes of Everton, Bournemouth, Southampton, Newcastle, Brighton, Sheffield, West Ham and Arsenal. And funny enough, they're pretty much the same teams United have dropped points to, except for Brighton, because we beat Brighton, I think it was 3-1, and all the other teams we've dropped points to: Everton, Bournemouth, Southampton, Newcastle, Sheffield, West Ham and Arsenal. Obviously we got beat. Obviously we drew to Everton. We got beat by Bournemouth away. We drew to Southampton away. Obviously we lost to Newcastle away, but we got them back at Old Trafford. Sheffield we drew away 3-3. We lost to West Ham. We lost to Arsenal. So obviously both games against Arsenal we've dropped points so far this season. Drew at home, lost at the Emirates. So it's just pretty much the same script really. Both teams can't find momentum. Both teams can't find confidence. Pretty much the same script. And this will be a both-sided game. This will be just down to which team will take the chances and score the chances. This will be all eyes on which manager will have the better tactics and the better game plan, and let the best team win on the night. And we can probably see which is the better manager recently against these two managers, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard, this is his second job, and this is like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's like 4th, 5th job. So this is like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's like 4th, 5th job in his career. So that's why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got a bit more of experience than Frank Lampard. So obviously that is going to pay a price when you've got more experience than another manager, really. So obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done his homework the last 2 times on Chelsea. He's got to do it again, and yeah, we've got to just let the better team win. The only Chelsea player that has scored against Man United this season is Michy Batshuayi in the Carabao Cup, and they lost that 2-1. That should be pretty embarrassing for Chelsea. And yeah, like I said before, recently, all we have to do is just to beat Chelsea is just have a quick, bright start. The passing needs to be quick, the movement needs to be quick. We've got to be sharp on the ball. We need to control and dominate the game. We're going to have to create the chances, score any chances. So yeah, and you know, Chelsea like to play it out at the back. We like to play it out at the back. And if they do make a mistake, try and capitalise on it, and let's see where it takes us. And again, they've got a lot of quality, Chelsea. They've got some fantastic players, obviously, Willian, Pedro, Pulisic, Mount. So it's not going to be easy. So yeah, they'll push us to they'll give it their absolute everything. They'll push us to our limits. We've just got to play high intensity, high tempo. Play how we want to play, take on Ollie's instructions. We need to train well, we need to be physically, mentally prepared for this one. We've got to go in with the right mindset, the right mentality, and we're going there to win. And I want to come off this break and let's crack on with the second half of the season with a win. And let's try and close that gap now to Chelsea, because Chelsea, having their struggles right now, both teams cannot find confidence and momentum right now, and this will be 2 teams. Whoever takes the chances, scores on the chances, and like I said, this will be all eyes on the manager. This will be all eyes on which manager will get the better tactics, the better game plan, and you've got to let the best team win. Whoever wants it more, whoever's chasing down the game more. And we just need absolutely everything out of our players. We're going to give it absolutely everything from minute 1 to minute 90. Play by the referee's whistle, and Ollie needs to pick the right team. He needs to put the players in the right positions. We need the structure in the team. We need the squad depth in the team, and he needs to pick the right team selection. And I think if he does all those things, we'll go on to winning this game. I think it's just the way how we prepare for this game, approach this game. And it's all about with the right mentality, the right mindset into this game. Let's train well now in Spain, and let's improve now as a team, and let's go out there and let's go and beat Chelsea. Chelsea, not in the greatest form right now, and this is the best opportunity to go and beat Chelsea right now. If we beat Chelsea, I'll be over the moon. It's a 4 a.m. kickoff. I'm looking forward to this game. Bring it on. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can make that 3-0 against Frank Lampard. So I'm looking forward to this game. Let the best team win, and hopefully we'll just do those things. Let's look forward to a great night of football. Come on, Reds. We can win this against Chelsea. This is the best opportunity now to beat Chelsea. Looking forward to the game. Hope you guys are enjoying another video. Be sure to leave a like. Subscribe to my channel if you are new. See you guys in the next couple of days. And peace.